you know, sometimes it can seem like everything around us is going wrong. It can seem like everything around us is just shattering and it's just falling apart. But if we can just sit back and re-evaluate some of the things that we've said out of our mouths, it can be so easy for us to be able to pinpoint and be able to get to the root of the issues that we are experiencing.
God is divinely, through the finger of himself, disrupting a thing. Watch this, because God says, I've got to disrupt you over here. Glory to God. So I can anoint you over there. Oh, I feel like y'all watching. God has an over there assigned for y'all, and you looking for it to happen over here. God said, I'm about to disrupt that over here, and I'm about to position you for over there. If I can disrupt you over here, I'm going to anoint you over there.
Hello, hello, and welcome to the Eloquent Wives page. My name is Gloria Warren, and I am so excited for you to be back with us again today. I am so excited for the Wifelihood series as it continues. And today I have a very special guest who also happens to be my sister in love. We have so much in common, and I am so excited because she is not only an elder, but she is also a licensed cosmetologist. So today she is going to talk to us about beauty. So she's not going to just talk about spiritual beauty, but also we're going to talk about the natural beauty, because here we are wives. And so that means our spirits need to be beautiful. We need to know how to relate to people. We need to know how to talk to people. But at the same time, we need to know how to navigate through the changes of life. So some of you may have small children. Some of you may have just given birth. Some of you may be going through hormonal changes, whatever it is. And sometimes it can weigh on our self-esteem. And so she is going to give us tips on how we can just spruce things up, because we should not only, again, be beautiful spiritually, but also naturally. So I believe that it's okay for us to, make ourselves look good. I don't believe that God has just this weight on us to where we have to look like we just woke up. I believe that we should be eye candy for our husbands as well. So, today she's going to help us all get it together. And she is always beautiful. She's always well put together, and you will love her. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you my sister in love, Elder Raven Warren.
Hi, Gloria.
How are you? How are you doing today?
I'm blessed. I am a little under the weather, so my voice sounds like Barry White, but we're gonna get that together. We're gonna get it together.
We're gonna get it together.
Yes.
Before we get started, I just want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to just sit here, to talk with us, to share, and to just pour out, because I know that you could be doing so many other things. But I really appreciate you, even though we're family. I never take it for granted, because I know that you have a lot of things that pull on you. You have a lot of people that pull on you. So you could be anywhere right now. But to just know that you took time out to say, yes, Gloria, I'll be there. It means so much. So just thank you for being here.
I thank you for the invitation. I think that God has really blessed you with a vision for the Eloquent Wife. And I wish that there was this when I first got married, because it will help navigate through any and every situation you're going to encounter as a wife. And when you want to be a biblical wife, when you want to be a godly wife, we can't operate like the world. And
Yeah,
so the information that you give, it is so juicy and it has so much wisdom in it. And for you to be beautiful, to be smart, to be in ministry, and to want to pour back into other women, that's a gift. And I appreciate your gift. So thank you for taking the time to do all the things that you do when it comes to this ministry that you have. And um, you have really helped me with other ventures that I've been going down, trying to help me with presentation and all those things. And I know that's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that people don't know. They don't get to see that kind of stuff.
yeah,
But y'all trust me. She goes out of her way to make sure that, you know, if it's something I don't know, she willingly gives me the information. And it's not a competitive thing with you and
yeah,
I. And I think that the world needs to see that you can be two women of God
yeah,
that have, like you said, so many similarities. Like, it's insane. People are like, I think y'all are the twins, not the husbands. But I appreciate the special bond that we share. And there again, being married to twins, there's nobody in the world that understands some of the things that I've gone through but you, because you're married
yes.
to the other one. So I appreciate you and thank you for considering me for this. I'm honored.
Oh, it's gonna make me cry. My eyes are actually getting teary eyed. I'm like, Lord, please help me.
Girl, don't start, because you know I'll do the same. Where the glue, Glory? Where the glue?
I left it upstairs. So Lord,
Uh-uh.
help it to stay on. Help it to stay on.
He's so silly.
So let's just jump into the conversation.
Yes.
And I know who you are,
Yes.
but for those who do not know who you are, who is Raven Warren?
Whew. There's a lot there. Okay, let me take a deep breath. I need to get a drink of water. No, honestly, I am just a person that has been blessed by God to do the things that God has blessed me to do. I am a daughter, I'm a sister, I am a wife of almost 11 years as of next month, which is a blessing and a testimony all in itself, because in our age category, people aren't staying married.
Yeah,
But I think it's important that people know when God is inside the marriage, and it's not just the two people, but the spirit of God is in the marriage, that nothing can hold you. Like, there is no ceiling to what you can do. And so I am grateful that I'm married to a godly man, because he helps me in every aspect of life. And I'm grateful for him. And he's also in ministry. And so there's certain things that he understands that if I was married to somebody who wasn't in ministry, they wouldn't understand the sacrifices or the things that I have to do, like fasting or, just sacrificing to do an assignment. So I'm grateful for him. I'm a mother of four. Yes, I said four. Oh, Lord, that's a whole story in itself. But I have two sons and two daughters. The boys are older, the girls are younger. Kingston is 9, Princeton is 8, Array of Majesty is 5, and Rain is 1, the last of the last. Thank you, Jesus. And mothering is a joy, and it's also a major sacrifice, but it's worth it. And so I'm grateful for my babies. I am a minister, as you said before. I started my ministry, I was 18 years old. I'm third generation on my mom's side. So it was my grandmother, my mom, and then me. Um, Growing up in church, I never fit the mold of, like Kojic or,
yeah,
other organizations or what people would think a church girl should be. I never fit that mold. I was always different in middle school, high school. In my cosmetology class, I was the only Black girl, and so, and the only Christian. And so I just stood out like a sore thumb. And so as I grew older and matured in God, I understood, okay, this is why God separated me from everybody else. This is why he didn't allow me to fit in with everybody else, because there was a distinct assignment on my life that I had to grow into. I had to be groomed into. And so, you know, just just maturing. As you get older, you spend more time with God, you understand his character, your purpose, your assignment. And so that, for me, has been a major learning curve, but it has been very rewarding. Brock and I share a online ministry called Glory Carriers, and it's pretty much just a vision that God gave us. Not trying to be famous or anything like that. It's just when God gives us something, we want to share it.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people, like you said, that pull at us and like, how did you guys get here? How did you do this? How did you do that? How did you navigate through this? And so that's pretty much what that whole ministry is for, is to just share our experiences. We're not saying we know everything. We're not saying we're 100% right all the time, but we do stand on biblical principles. And so God is definitely being glorified in that online ministry. At church, I am the media coordinator. So I do the online stuff, all the graphics and blah, blah, blah. You've actually helped me a lot with that too, girls. So you should be on that department too. uh, I just want to see the kingdom of God be advanced, and whatever that sacrifice has to be, then that's what I have to do. Professionally, I am a licensed cosmetologist, like you said before. I work for Ulta Beauty. I'm going on my 7th year. I worked my way up the ladder. I started as a D1, which is just a basic stylist, to a D2, to a master stylist, now to an elite stylist, and that's the highest you can go in the company.
Okay.
And that was only by the grace of God and a lot of patience. I am considered a technical ambassador. So that means if someone gets their hair messed up, if there's a color correction, then technically it comes to me, or if the other girls need help with formulations, then they come to me for that. I recently got my cosmetology instructor's license last year. I think it was in October or November of last year. I am a professional special events makeup artist. So I have clients that come for weddings, for anniversary parties, for homecoming this past weekend. They wore me out. And it's rewarding to see, the girls' excitement and just that season of life. I remember when I was their age and how exciting that was, to be able to get dressed up and get your makeup done, get your hair done, and you got a date. And, I think that season is important. And I encourage young girls around me, go to those events. Like, you need to go and just get that experience. So when you get married, or, your engagement party comes, you're not like, oh my God, what am I going to do? You're familiar with dressing up and making yourself look good. Because when you look good, you feel good. You can be sick physically, but if you wash up and, fix your hair, put some lip gloss on, girl, you feel better. So I enjoy that. And I'm just a goofy person, honestly. I like to laugh. As you know, I like to be silly. But when it comes to the things of God, I am very serious. Like, I am a whole nother animal when it comes to ministry. And nobody believes me. And me and you have had this conversation many times, that I am really introverted. I'm shy by nature, but everyone's like, well, we don't see that. We don't pick that up. But the only way that people can't pick that up is because when I'm functioning in ministry, I allow God to take over. It's not what I'm comfortable with, because I'm not comfortable talking in front of people. I'm not comfortable, being the center of attention. I never liked that. And that's why my profession is awesome, because it's me and one person, just engaging in conversation. But ministry forces me out of that shell, out of that comfort zone. And, me and you were talking at the conference we just did, to consciously say to yourself, Raven, get up and go talk to people. Like, I know people don't know how to take me, because if I'm uncomfortable and then I have like this intense look on my face, and they're like, oh, she dresses up, she got all this makeup on and whatever. And then I'm just sitting there. It could be presumed that I'm stuck up or bougie, or she acting funny. And it's really not that. I'm really just battling in my head. Like, go talk to people. So I guess that's Raven.
Yeah.
That's me.
I get it. I'm introverted, like
Yes.
this right here.
Yeah.
I think the digital age is like God's blessing to introverts. Like,
Yeah.
okay, you know, it might be too much for y'all to just go out and do all this. Not saying that people don't, but I
Yeah.
love, just being able to work and do stuff from home, make it
Yeah.
reach people.
Yes.
And that, and then as you said, like when God steps in, you have to be in public. He'll
Mhm.
take over, and then when you get done, it's like, what did I just do? But
For
I mean,
real.
I love this digital age, and
Yes.
but He's bringing everything so that there will be no excuses. Like while we
Mhm.
couldn't do what we
Yep.
needed to do, and I think that it's amazing how just everything with the digital space. This is so not on topic.
It's okay. Let's go
But with
there.
everything with the digital space, like it's just helping everything to just move forward. And some people might be afraid of it, but it it it's a blessing to me.
Yeah.
It's a
Same
blessing.
here, girl. And you're so good at it. That's what makes it like you like, oh, Gloria's in her zone right now. Like you can tell you are definitely anointed and you studied and figured out how to advance your craft. And that's what a lot of people don't do. And you can tell in the output that there's been no increase in knowledge. And so you got it, girl. I'd be like, girl, help me out.
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So for this question that I want to ask you,
Okay.
as a woman of faith, how would you define beauty, and how would you define it spiritually, and then how would you define it naturally?
Well, when you talk spiritual things, I think it's important to have a biblical base. And I think it's First Peter, I think like the third, 3 and 4. I believe it says true beauty begins on the inside, and so a lot of people they misconstrue what beauty is. And I am a firm believer that you can put as much makeup on the outside as you want to. I mean, you can wear however many bundles you want. You can do all the outside adornments and be trifling on the inside and have just a nasty personality, that does not make you a beautiful person. You can see a person that has like the Coca-Cola bottle shape and just hair is laid, makeup is slayed, and she just is gorgeous on the outside. And then you engage in conversation and you're like, ugh, and it puts a bad taste in your mouth about them. And so my thing growing up was always, my dad specifically and my grandmother and my god family and everybody really would always say, you're such a pretty girl. But I would take that and, I would say thank you. But I also understood the magnitude and the weight of your inward beauty. If you have a nasty attitude, or you just always got something negative to say, or you're a person that's just drawn to negativity, I don't want to be around you, and nobody wants to be around you. And I think entering into the cosmetology field, I understood that the Bible says that we are God's masterpiece. And so all the things that we can do on the outside is just that. It's just outward adornments. That's it. But if your heart is not a heart that is centered on God, or you displaying godly character, or wanting to be the woman that God created you to be, and even in your marriage, like being that Proverbs 31 woman, that was huge for me. I always wanted to be the woman who um, exuded what Christ should look like in a young woman. I am curvy. I have a large bust. And so I'm very conscious about how I dress myself. And some clothing, even though it may look modest on the mannequin or on the shelves, when you put it on, when you're bustier or you're more hippie, then it don't look like that on you, sis. It don't. And so I try to be mindful of that, because you and I can wear the same thing and it fits us totally different because we have different body types. And so focusing on outward appearance is good, and being conscious of that. But if your inside is damaged, if your inside is destroyed, then you really have to self-reflect and ask God, what is it about my character or my personality that is not exemplifying your character? The Bible says in Genesis that God created mankind in his own image. And if we are made in the image of God, we should reflect his personality and his characteristics. I think it's critical that people see not just the outside, because God looks at the heart. People think, God cares about how I look. Now, God wants you to look presentable. Even the Bible was talking about when you fast, don't look like you ain't washed up, you ain't brushed your teeth. Like, you don't need to look hungry. But God looks at the heart of man. And so I think that was always, that always played in the back of my mind. So I kept things in perspective in my training, in my years in school, even, additional education that I've taken outside of schooling, to be aware that your inner man is far more important than the outward appearance. But you can dress it up and, all of those things, but that's just an enhancement that helps you build your self-esteem, that helps, keeping the attention of your man, and, because men are visual creatures. And so it plays a part in the marriage, yes, but if you don't realize that you're God's masterpiece, and if you just are wearing things as a cover up, if you aren't comfortable in your own skin and you're wearing makeup and extensions and all these things, and that makes you feel validated, then you got to go back to the drawing board and say, Lord, I want to be comfortable with me. The other stuff is nice, but I want to be comfortable with me. And so that to me was more important than the outward stuff. I know that scripture in the song that you sing, that he makes everything beautiful in its time. And that to me is not about the outward appearance. That's about the circumstances that you can go through in life, your personality, your characteristics as you grow as a person and as a human being, that what could have been broken in you as a child. If somebody was saying to you, this is not you, but let's just use you for example. Gloria, you fat. Girl, you just fat. And if you're constantly hearing that growing up, then that begins to nip away at your self-esteem. And so as you get older, you become self-conscious. And so as a woman of God, we have to be delicate what we say, how we say it, and who we say it to. We're not supposed to tear down. We're supposed to build up. Even with our husbands, with our children, it's the same thing. If you see a flaw in your child, help them cultivate that, that gift that's inside of them, so that they will be comfortable as they grow older, instead of creating stigmas and these things that make them feel like they're less than. We're supposed to use our words to encourage and to build up. And so all of that stems from your inner beauty. Outside, that's one thing, but your inner man is more important to me. Your soul is what God is seeing. He's looking at the heart. So I hope that answered the question.
Yes, that answered the question. And just, with you talking about, that inward beauty, and it's been like that. I'm pretty sure we've all encountered people who, we saw them and they look beautiful, but then you have a conversation with them, or you try to have a conversation with them, and then, you're met with, either like this sour face, or, you, and we are all spirit beings. So, especially when God gifts you with the discerning of spirits, and it's like, when you feel certain things when you're around people, and this is like, you even feel either looked down upon, or you feel, that you're not welcome, or you feel that, you know, people are thinking a certain thing, and just taking a moment to have that self-awareness to say, Lord, you know, what what is it that is within me that is not like you? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I think that that's a way to get the conversation started, even when you are in prayer. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we may not see ourselves, or even if somebody told us, and then, it's not easy to believe
Mm-hmm.
something, when you don't want to see yourself. And if you don't want to have, like that correction, or you feel like everybody is just, they hating on me. But
Mm-hmm.
if everybody's saying something, you have to sit back and say, Lord, is there something going on with me? And just having a moment and just allow him to speak to us. And Lord, how is my attitude?
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to shift in the way that I look at people? Do I need to shift in
Mm-hmm.
the way that I talk to people?
Mm-hmm.
And just having that conversation, I think, is a doorway for him to be honest with us and then actually receive what he shares with us. He might tell you you're okay. And then he
Mm-hmm.
might say, well, you know, I want you to work on this when you're
Yeah.
around people. So I think that was so powerful what you said. And being a married woman of 10 years, um, what is the one most valuable thing that you've learned thus far when it comes to image and presentation?
Mm. Um, Proverbs 31 and 30 says that charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. And so, being married 10 years, and as far as image is concerned, I have a what I consider to be a positive and a negative. I am a perfectionist. And with that, it also brings the spirit of frustration at times because you always want to always look perfect. You always want to look put together. And that helps me personally feel like, okay, I haven't let myself go, despite having 4 children, working full time, ministry, and all the other side things that I have going on. The one thing that can help me still feel put together is make my presentation of myself. And my grandmother said something to me when Brock and I were engaged, and I'll never forget it. And she said, anybody can get a man, but can you keep one? And so when she said that, I was like, girl, you're right. And so my thing was, I never wanted to give my husband reason to feel like you have to have a wandering eye. I always wanted to be appealing to him. I always wanted him to be attracted to me. Now, granted, I have gained weight since we've gotten married. I have had 4 babies, and your body changes.
Yeah.
And all of my children were born by C-section, as you know. And that surgery, they're cutting you in the same spot, cutting through scar tissue. And so there's like almost nothing left, when you begin to heal. Everything is different. You feel different. You don't feel like yourself. And then I nurse my children. And so you're giving of your body to your
Yeah.
children, but you're like, okay, but what about me? I don't want to feel like I've given everything. You said that at the conference that we just did. You said, well, when you give up everybody else, when you get home, you have nothing left to give to your husband. And so that is such powerful words because we just assume they're going to always be there. We just assume that, we give them anything. You just take what's left after I've given to my job, I've given to the ministry, I've given to the children, and now I'm exhausted. But I always wanted to make sure that my husband felt that he had a wife that cared enough about him that she would care enough about her appearance. Now,
Yeah.
me being in the cosmetology industry, my look will change. Like I change my attitude, like the weather changes, my hair will change. Like I might be dark today, tomorrow I might be blonde, I might be red. I've had a blue and purple streak in the front. Like I've had some tinsel, I've had short, I've had long, I've rocked pixies, I've rocked it to my butt. So my look changes all the time. And I just want, and I have to make it clear that he's not pressuring me to do those things. this is something that I personally wanted to do for my husband and for my marriage, and also for myself and my self-esteem. Like I said, your body changes. You know, they always say beauty fades. Like, you're not going to look 60 the way you looked at 20. It's just gravity happens, life happens, lines develop, and age happens to your body. But to when you can do it, I think it's important that you do it. You know, there'll be a day where you can't pull that girdle up no more. You know, but while I can do it, I want to make sure I am presentable and appealing to my husband. I want to make sure that he feels like he has a charm on his arm. I want to make sure that when we step out, that he's not embarrassed of me. And you know, that can go both ways. Same with him, like, keep your hair cut, you know, wear some cologne. I still have expectations too, sir. But for the woman, I think as time has gone on, my husband has always said, like, when we first got married, he was like, babe, you don't need extensions. Like, you got hair. You don't need that makeup. You got nice skin. You're pretty. You got a nice smile. And I was like, thank you. That I appreciate that. But these are the things that attracted you to me. And these are the things that make me feel like I went overboard. You know? So it's important that we take that very serious, you know, our appearance. You know, we have days, don't get me wrong. There are days where I just come home, I don't want to wear no makeup. My hair is in a bun. I've got on scrubs, or I have on jogging pants or a hoodie. You know, we have those down days, but my husband will tell you it's very, very rare, because most of the days I have to be up and out of the house, and my makeup and my hair is a part of my uniform for work. And so I have to look like this to go to work. So when I have a down day, it's not happening. I'm not doing all this. It's exhausting, but it's rewarding. So I hope that answered the question.
Yes. And I get it, you know, like you said, we have like those down days, especially like
Yes.
the cleaning days. And, you know, it's like at some point, if you are not, if we are, I guess, too in a place where like we don't want to like touch anything, get our hands dirty, like your house gonna be dirty, your house gonna be
Exactly.
nasty. So at some point, you got to come down. You got to be like, you know, let me do these dishes, let me do these clothes, let me fold them. I mean, you can do it in your makeup, but majority of people will probably be like, you know what, this gonna be my day where I'm just gonna
Yeah.
rest. You know, if you want the house clean, that's what you're gonna see for today. But I don't know if you've gone into this or not, but I want to ask, like, have you ever endured a season where you said, this is me in my rawest form.
Mm.
This is all I can give right now.
Mm. Um, I have probably with every birth, that was my season. Specifically my last,
Yeah.
because she was born in the middle of a pandemic, and you know, nobody was coming to the house. And like I said, I just had major surgery, and I also had it's probably too much information, but I had my tubes removed to make sure I couldn't get pregnant anymore. And so it was already excruciating pain to have had a cesarean, but when they started removing other body parts, they're expecting you to be in more pain than usual. And so there were days where I couldn't get out of the bed. You know, there were days where I missed the alarm clock to take my pain medication, and I woke up shaking. Like, well, my husband woke me up, and I was just like, literally, my whole body was shaking, just in excruciating pain. And I thank God for a husband that understands. You know, some men are just like dogmatic about it and they expect that. But I think my husband knows my personality, and when I can, I do. Um, like, even literally when I was having my cesareans, I had full face makeup on. So I'm like, my picture's about to be cute. And to some people that might be ridiculous, but that's just how my brain works. And so I'm grateful for him, who, you know, is not dogmatic about it. He really doesn't say
Yeah.
anything about, you know, when I have my downtime. Um, and after the baby was 9 days old, my father passed away from COVID, and I couldn't get to him. That was just a whole devastating time period in my life. And I'm literally not just fighting to heal my body, I'm fighting depression, I'm
Yeah.
fighting grief, you know, and there was a lot of other side situations going on that I couldn't, my makeup was the last thing I was concerned about. My hair stayed in a ponytail. I had, if it wasn't in a ponytail, I had braids in my hair. And my concern was on healing physically
Yeah.
and taking care of my newborn baby. And I told myself, I will grieve for my father later. Like, I can't really explain that mental concept, but I was focused on, if I dwell on grieving and this physical pain, like physically healing, it would take me out. And so I said, mentally, I'm going to put off grieving for my father until my body is healed. And my husband prayed for me during that time. He was ministering to me during that time. And though he's never lost a parent, so he couldn't really understand but so much what I was going through.
Yeah.
But it was so many other factors. We have 3 other children that had to be taken care of and looked after. That's when the schools were shut down. We were doing homeschool. It was a lot going on during that season. And so I wasn't just raw physically, I was raw spiritually, emotionally. I had nothing to give to anybody. And I know you were probably one of the only people that I had one of those conversations with, that I just felt so broken.
Yeah.
And even as far as ministry is concerned, I'm like, Lord, I couldn't hear from God. It was hard to pray. I'm like, God, what is going on in this season? I just felt so broken that I couldn't function. And it literally was like, wake up in the morning, take care of the baby, go shower. And, you know, even that was a challenge, trying to lift my legs to get in the shower because of my
Yeah.
cesarean scar. Like, it was just brokenness, like totally broken, the most broken anybody could be. I was that broken. And I'm like, Lord, you feel like you are forever away. Like, can you hear me? Are you still with me? And, you know, when you spend a lot of time with God, you understand that when you're going through a test, the teacher is quiet. You know, he's present, but he's quiet. And so that just kept playing back in my mind. Like, I had to keep giving, like, saying affirmations. You're still anointed. You're still called of God. You still have a destiny. You still have a purpose. And, you know, when you're that broken and you're grieving and you're just so vulnerable, the devil tries to creep in, not only with depression, but with suicidal thoughts. And so that happened when I lost my grandfather. You know, the suicidal thoughts was coming, and I'm like, this is not me. This is nothing but the devil that is trying to distract me and to turn my thoughts away from who God created me to be, because who the devil can't destroy, he distracts. And so when you're in that kind of state, you're so vulnerable, you go with it. You believe the lie. You know, you're like, well, maybe I'm not anointed. Maybe I'm not called. I literally had to go back and watch videos of, like, my initial sermon, other sermons that I've preached, notes that I had written down, notes my grandmother had written to me. I had to go back and, like, rebuild myself up with the power of the Spirit of God, reminding me, like, the angels were ministering to me, like, you can't stay here. Like, the baby was probably about closer to a year old. And I remember I was still in that, like, mute season. I'm like, Lord, where are you? And then slowly but surely he started ministering to me again. And I would hear him say, like, okay, are you ready to come back? How much longer are you going to stay in the season? Are you, like, there are people that their destinies are in jeopardy because you're not ministering. That's literally what God was saying to me. I'm like, I got to put my big girl pants on. I got to, you know, shake this dust off my feet and move forward with who God created me to be. So to me, that was my most rawest season of my life. But as broken as you can feel in that season, when God raises you back up, I mean, you feel more empowered. You feel like, oh, I've never heard God more clear now, you know, because he's ministering to you and you got to be receptive to that. So I hope that answered.
Yeah. And, like, two things I think about with everything that you shared. You know, I like, I don't know if this is like a revelation from God, but I just feel like, you know, when we go through tests, no matter how long it may be before we come out on the other side, I just believe that if we can walk through it and overcome it, I believe that God will anoint us that we can go back and help other people
Mm-hmm.
who are walking through that same very thing to overcome it. And then I also believe that if we overcome
Mm-hmm.
hell, all the
Mm-hmm.
demons that are coming at us,
Mm-hmm.
when we speak and when we say something, I believe
Mm-hmm.
that we have the authority of Jesus to
Mm-hmm.
just demolish every demonic force. When we're
Yes.
ministering to people, we
Mm-hmm.
have the right and the authority to demolish every attack and every demonic force that comes at people because we walked through it, we've overcome it. All of hell saw us walk through it, they saw us overcome it, and so they know that we have the oil and we have
Mm.
the anointing and the power and we have everything that we need to eradicate them from other people's lives. And so even when they ask, who do you think you are? You know who I am. I'm not an
Exactly.
impersonator. You see me walk through this. I overcame, I beat you, and I'm going to
Mm.
help other people come out of that too. So I thought that that was so, so, so powerful. And then also when you said that you were thankful for having a husband that was understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had a conversation with a lady a couple of months ago, and she had just had a baby. And, I know that everybody's situation is,
Mm-hmm.
different, and not everybody has an understanding husband because I
Mm-hmm.
can't remember if it was a C-section or a vaginal birth, but she was sharing, how her husband wanted her body to be like right back and just to be talking with her and kind of getting emotional even right now, but to have her doing push-ups, doing sit-ups to try to get her stomach back flat, and she's having to feed the baby and take care of everything. And I think that it's one reason why some people they feel like the women are taking over. But I believe that there is a biblical way that we should walk,
Mm-hmm.
and women are powerful. We have just as much right to petition heaven, to pray,
Mm-hmm.
to preach, and but I also think that women have, if you're not following the things of God, there are so many
Mm-hmm.
women who've been hurt, who
Yeah.
have, been silenced, who've been pushed aside. And, they are just some are doing it out of rebellion because
Mm-hmm.
my mouth was closed for so long. I'm about to
Mm-hmm.
show you and everybody else this what I'm about to do. I'm about to change the laws. And so everything is not, according to the ways of God. But, just stuff like this will cause somebody to act out, to lash out. And,
Mm-hmm.
just thinking about women who don't have that support system, who, when you're going through, when you lost somebody, you know, when you feel, your self-esteem is not there,
Mm-hmm.
and to have like a husband who's just badgering you and bashing you and you telling you that you're ugly, that you're not this, that you're not that. And that, this kind of goes into like the the next thing that I would love to ask you. Um, to the woman who doesn't believe that she has beauty um, within her because of a lie that she's received from a false voice, even if it's the voice that's supposed to love her, even if it's, the voice that's supposed to be a protection, be a provider, whether that's the husband, whether that's the parents, saying, negative things. And I know, children go through a lot, they grow up with issues and things like that. And there are a lot of women who have been, broken and wounded at the hands of those who are supposed to care for them. So, what could you speak over her right now for the woman that's listening who's saying, I hear what you're saying, but you know, even if I put on makeup, I still feel, ugly or, I thought that I was beautiful. I went to, an Ulta near me or, a Sephora near me and I got the
Mm-hmm.
makeup that I thought that he wanted or, I got what I thought that he would like and I put it on. He didn't look at me or, I did what I thought that he wanted and he said I look like a
Mm-hmm.
clown. For that woman, what can you speak to her heart in this moment right now?
I think I would say to her, um, your relationship with God is more important than anything.
Yeah.
And so the closer you get to God, the more powerful you understand how God is. Then you see that when the Bible says that we are made in God's image, and then Ephesians 2:20, where it says that we are God's masterpiece, then God makes no mistakes. And what seems beautiful to some people may not be beautiful to others. And you cannot give a person that kind of power over you,
Yeah.
where they are affecting your self-esteem, where they are causing you to feel like you are less than. And I had a situation where I worked at a previous salon. It was a lot of jealousy. It was a walk-in salon, and all of the people were coming in for me, and we were supposed to rotate. And so I had people waiting for up to 3 hours just to get their hair done, and the other girls are just sitting there. So they started to feel some type of way.
Yeah.
And so management, this did not sit well with them. And the manager said to me, after a lot of things had started building up, she said, "All you're worth is $8 an hour." And so I was like, first my feelings was hurt. And I'm not used to coming at people like that. I'm not used to people coming at me like that. So I never
Yeah.
know how to respond, like, on the spot. And so I just said, "You didn't create me, and you don't tell me what I'm worth." And I literally walked out, and I no longer work for that company. And so I leave there and go to Alta, who had been pulling at me for a year and a half at that point, to come work there. And so I'm like, I literally sat here and took abuse and neglect from somebody that did not see my worth, that tried to tell me, "All your worth is $8 an hour." So the biggest thing I could do to get back at that person, not to be vengeful or anything like that, but to make them a liar.
Yeah.
Because first of all, you didn't create me, so you can't tell me what I'm worth. Number two, I get to Alta and I excel to the top, the highest position you can hold in the salon. But yet somebody who didn't see my anointing, or didn't see my calling, or didn't see my worth, could speak damnation over me and say, "All you're worth is $8 an hour." How you like me now? And so the same situation for a man. I'm not saying be hateful towards your husband. I'm not saying be, bitter towards him, or, start acting out in your marriage. What I am saying is get closer to God. The closer you get to God, you'll see how powerful you are. And get around people like Gloria, who will empower you. That season that I just came out of, that I was telling you about when I had the baby and stuff, I don't remember, I don't even think you preached that Sunday. This is when we were still in the pandemic, and we were just in the house praying. Somebody had spoke, we were done with service, and the whole family was there. And you said to me, "You have a lion inside of you." And if you look at all the glory carrier stuff, the lion is our logo,
Yeah.
because I believe that. You have to get around people that will pour into you, that will see and identify that there is a soldier inside of you, that there is something so powerful and dynamic inside of you that nobody can tell you what you're worth. Not the devil in hell. He can't tell you who you're worth. Like Gloria said, he can identify who you are. That's why he fights you, because he sees how powerful you are. And when I wake up in the morning, and I have that kind of relationship with God, and I'm so close to God. When I wake up in the morning, I want the devil to say, "Oh, hell, she's awake. Her feet have hit the ground. Oh, here she's ministering again." I want him to know my name. I want him to know that if you're coming for my peace, you're coming for my joy, you're coming for my self-esteem. If a fight is what you want, a fight is what you're going to get. Because the God that I serve, the God that created me, that put me together so intricately, he cared enough about me to give me brown skin. You got to learn to see the beauty in who God created you to be. Now you can look at somebody, and this is a lot of Black people's issue. We are color struck. We'll look at somebody else that's darker than us and be like, "Oh, she's not pretty," or they'll say like, "She's pretty for a brown skin girl." That's not a compliment. That's
Yeah.
not a compliment. To me, that was more disrespectful than you not saying anything at all. You're not building your sister up. You're tearing her down. If my skin is the color of this black on my shirt, I have to learn to see the beauty in that. If my skin is pale like I'm albino, I have to learn to see the beauty in that. You cannot let anybody or anything define you. And like I said, making yourself look good on the outside, that's nice. But you have to self-reflect. Why is it that I am allowing somebody to say these things to me? Why is it that I'm accepting these things? And when it comes to having a baby and trying to like get your body to snap back, realistically, that just don't happen. Okay. When you have a cesarean, it takes a year internally to heal. And you'll do more damage to your body physically, long-term damage, try to snap back versus letting your body heal naturally like it's supposed to. You're going to cause more damage. And so for the men who would say that, that's damaging. And just like a woman is supposed to pull the king out of the man should be able to pull the queen out of the woman. How dare you tear down what God has blessed you with? The Bible says a man that finds a wife obtaineth favor from God. You got to be careful how you treat your wife. And for the woman, don't let nothing and nobody cause you to feel like you're less than, because you're not. God created you how he wanted you to be. You can add little enhancements here and there, but if you're not comfortable on the inside, you're still going to be tormented. You can put all the makeup on you want to.
I was looking at the scripture in, I think it's First Peter 3
Mm-hmm.
and 7.
Mm-hmm.
And it talks about how when a husband, mistreats his wife,
Mm-hmm.
their prayers are hindered. And I want to just read that really quick. And
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to read the King James Version.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it says, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them, your wives, according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. So when you think about an heir, you think about royalty.
Mm-hmm.
We're heirs together. So
Mm-hmm.
it shouldn't be like one that is just way up here and then the other one is just right here. If Eve was pulled from the rib, then that means that she stands beside him,
Mm-hmm.
and I just, you know, even with this being in the word, like God's word, it covers like everything. Anything that you can
Yes.
think of, it's like you can find it in the word. And, just to read this, it's like, woe unto me if I don't walk according to the ways of God. Like, if you don't want your hands to be cursed, if you don't want your finances to be cursed, if you don't want, for everything in your life to just go wrong. And sometimes it can seem like people are getting away with,
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that they do. But it's like, even when it seems like people are just, able to do whatever they want to do,
Mm-hmm.
you know, he will never be made into a lie. If you reap something, you're gonna sow something. And I know that it can be hard to, hear something like that, especially if you live with the husband, that they're harsh. And it's like, I don't want, I don't want our household to be cursed. Or I don't want, bad things to fall upon my husband, Lord, and then it even takes a person into praying, Lord, have mercy.
Yeah.
Lord, show this person the error of their way before, they fall into a ditch. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's only by the wisdom of God, the grace of God, the power of God,
Yeah.
that a person can overcome something like this, especially if, it's a regular thing, it's an everyday
Mm-hmm.
thing, it's an all the time thing. Like, you
Yeah.
know, you have to stay in God's presence, because if you don't, the enemy will love to overtake us. He only has three things that he's concerned about: to kill us, to destroy us, and to steal from us. So any
Mm.
one of those three that he can do, he'll try to do that. And so
Yeah.
I just pray that, you know, that everything that you shared, that the heart of that woman will just begin to heal and begin to, go on this journey with finding out, Lord, who am I? Who do you say that I am?
Mm-hmm.
Who is it that you've called me to be? Because I also believe that when we don't know who we are,
Mm-hmm.
it causes of us to feel like we have to accept
Yep.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have been in a place where you're like, I know that I'm loved, I know
Mm-hmm.
that, my Father in heaven loves me,
Mm-hmm.
and I've either just given birth or whatever the situation is. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to put myself in harm
Yeah.
because of me trying to, I guess, please you, or me trying to, I don't even know like the
Yeah.
mindset behind it. But knowing that I'm not about to do this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know that that's a process in getting there,
Yeah.
because not everybody's household is safe.
Yeah.
There are women who have like abusive husbands. And so, I mean, God's eyes are in all places, beholding the good and the evil. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much. And so it's like, when God brings you to a place where our husbands, they're not perfect,
Right.
but to know that they provide, to know that they, protect,
Yeah.
they will protect to the end of them, protect their children to the end of them,
Yeah.
to know that they cover us in prayer, to know um, that they don't put their hands on us, never try to put their hands on us.
Right.
It's
Right.
a blessing. You
Yeah.
know, I remember you used to say this all the time when we first got married. It's a blessing when you wait on God,
Yeah.
because he will give you the person that is best for you. He'll give you the
Yeah.
person that you need, that will help you to flourish in life, that
Yeah.
will help you to just, I guess that is the word, flourish, and
Yeah.
not be stifled and to just be pounded into the ground mentally. I think that's a lot of things. That's a lot of what people are dealing with today,
Yeah.
like mental things.
Yeah. If the devil can get your mind to think differently,
Yeah,
then he's got the rest of you. That's all that happened in the Garden of Eden. Satan got Eve to think differently. He twisted her thinking. And because of that, generations have to suffer,
yeah,
and so we have to learn from that we cannot allow, our mind to be tainted by the things of the world or what people have to say about us. Sometimes I have to, physically say to myself or mentally say to myself, you know, like for instance, like say I minister and I'll go back and like watch the video and then like I'm really critiquing myself and I'm like, well, what if people think this about me? Or what if people think that about me? And I have to say, like, girl, it don't matter. You know, you got to be confident who God created you to be, because not everybody's going to understand you. They're not. That's just a given. They're not going to always understand you. You know, I somebody just told me recently, they're like, "You're so anointed," and then she said, "I know people don't really understand you. Like a lot of people misunderstand your personality because they assume like, oh, I'm shallow because I like to dress nice or because I wear makeup and stuff, but I really got a prayer life." So you got to know who you are and not second guess and not make anybody else make you second guess about who you are.
yeah.
Sometimes you just got to be reminded, which is why this eloquent wife is so powerful. This is your reminder. This is your wake up call. Look in the mirror, girl. God made you. Nobody else matters. It's just you and God.
And when we can get to that place, knowing that it's just at the end of the day, you know, it's just us and God.
Yeah,
Because at the end of this life, we are gonna stand before nobody but Him, and it's not gonna be
exactly.
our mom there. It's
Yeah,
just gonna be us and God.
that's right.
So,
True.
in transitioning to this next part, because I know like the last 30 minutes of this segment has been kind of
Yes.
it's been kind of weighty, but let's get ready to transition into something that's more airy and fun.
Okay.
So, with you being a licensed cosmetologist, can you take a
Yes.
moment
Yes.
to just share with us some practical tips,
Yes.
some products to enhance the natural beauty?
Yes. So, when it comes to, um, we'll start with hair.
Okay.
When it comes to hair, just a simple, sleek ponytail or like a cute, like a sloppy bun. Like, long as your hair don't look like it's all over your head and like you didn't touch it at all, it will help you look more presentable. Something that I think is really important is protective styles in our hair. Braids are good, wigs are good, sew-ins are good, all those things are good, but only if they're installed properly. I think that's important to know. A lot of people, they braid and you see like the little bumps around your hairline. That is a sign of traction alopecia, which means it's too much tension. There's too much pulling. And so even with my daughters and we do braids and beads and all that good stuff. If I pull it in a ponytail or I'm using rubber bands or anything like that, I like to oil my rubber bands. That's just a little side tip, because it's rubber and it's made to stay in the hair.
Yeah.
And when you're getting ready to remove them, literally I use it looks like a little hook and it's a rubber band cutter, and I'll use that and kind of snap the rubber band first, and then I'll put oil or like a leave-in conditioner on the ends, and then remove the rubber band and then begin to unbraid. But a lot of us just go, pulling and snatching, and you're snapping those ends off. And most of us, specifically in the Black culture, we do not believe in getting our ends trimmed. The reason why your stylist has been like pushing this into your head, you need your ends trimmed, you need your ends trimmed, because if you look at the hair shaft and if the ends are messed up, it will continue to split all the way up the shaft. And so now, instead of getting a dusting or a half-inch cut off, now you're at 4 or 5 inches of hair that has just died because of neglect. And so as far as length retention is concerned, you want to keep those ends trimmed so that they don't split. They'll stay fresh. And then you'll see more new growth coming out than you are breaking off the bottom. That's how your hair gets longer and longer. And some people say, "Oh, my hair been the same length." Well, girl, how you snapping them ends off? Just snapping away. I am a firm believer of having a healthy hair regimen. I believe that you should find a shampoo and conditioner system that works for your hair. You can mix and match brands and lines and things of that nature. However, most of these lines are formulated to go together. Yeah. And so what you don't get from the shampoo, you will get from the conditioner. I'm not a fan of co-washes simply because they contradict the purpose. The shampoo is a cleanser, the conditioner is a hydrant. And so when you put that in one bottle, they're canceling each other out. And so I get, wanting to condense in products. However, if you are a curly girl, that product is not for you, boo. So let's try to alleviate those products. I'm just trying to think random hair tips. I'm an edgeless kind of person, and it's not just to make it look cute or put together, but you have little hairs that they call vellus hairs, real soft hair on your edges. And so those hairs, if you're wearing headbands constantly, you're going to cause traction alopecia because it's something that's constantly rubbing. If you wear wigs, move your wig installation either back or forward away from the hairline so that you don't wear your hairline out. Wearing your hair in braids, if you are going to wear a wig unit, make sure your braids are freshly washed and conditioned, and put a leave-in conditioner. I like to use like little oils, like an oil that has a nozzle tip so you can get right in between the braids. You want to protect your hair and keep it healthy even while you're wearing protective styles. That way you ensure when you decide, okay, I'm done with this unit or I'm done wearing these braids, that you have healthy hair underneath that. And I think that that's really, really important. As I said before, the edges, you slicking them back is preventing stuff rubbing against them. When you're sleeping, your pillowcase, your hats, all of those things suck moisture from the hair. And so if it's not laid back or it's not like protected, if it's just like all over the place, it's going to be constantly dry. Curly girls, our hair is naturally drier than straight hair for whatever reasons. But just finding the products that work for you, tying your hair down at night, satin pillowcases, satin bonnets. Bonnets are not for public. We're just going to go and put that out there. These are at home products, house shoes, pajamas, all that stuff. That's for the house, but we're talking about beauty right now. Finding you a stylist that is multicultural, finding a stylist that will listen to you, your hair needs, not doing what they want to do, but doing what you have asked them to do. Some of them will give their professional recommendations. Like if your hair is jet black and you come in and you want to be platinum blonde in the same day, I'm going to tell you no. Just because I protect the integrity of the hair. Redken, Redken, Redken products are phenomenal for every hair type. I have serviced just about every nationality at this point. And I've been at this about almost 15 years now. And so Redken, they are chemistry based. And so some products you find, they are just going to like saturate the hair, but it's not addressing the need or the problem of the hair. So say you come in and your ends are, your porosity is different. Your porosity is off. So we'll start with the basic or the normal pH balance of hair is 4.5. So anything can move your pH balance. Over manipulation with a like brushing really hard, or the weather can change it. Hormones can change it. Just how you're styling it. Anything can change the porosity of your hair. Chemical services, anything. And so you need products that will bring you back down to a normal 4.5 pH to ensure your hair stays healthy. And so, like, let's say you get a relaxer, which a lot of people in our culture get relaxers. It's not perm, it's relaxer. Know our terms. So if you get a relaxer, the bonds of the hair is broken. This is how color is received. This is how any chemical service is received. The bonds of the hair have to break to receive the service. And so with doing that, you're moving and shifting the natural pH of the hair. And so say you do a relaxer and your pH went from 4.5 to 10. So the neutralizer brings that pH back down to 4.5. So you got people out here that's like, I'm gonna relax my hair at home. Oh, I don't have no neutralizer. Girl, you about to have that moment. Like, what's love got to do with it? When that girl rinsed her hair out and the hair was in that sink? Yeah, that's about to be you, bald-headed. So going to a knowledgeable stylist, not somebody that just went through school and went to cosmetology school and just did it just because it was a fun class to be in, but that actually studied and paid attention, that knows the processes of the hair, how like the chemistry part of it is balanced. That's who you need to find. And sometimes it takes a lifetime to find that person. But when you find that person, stick with them, be loyal to them, because they need your support just like you need them to help you keep your hair healthy and growing and flourishing and hydrated. And so deep conditioning treatments are good. Masks are good. I would not recommend doing any type of chemical service at home. I wouldn't recommend doing any color services at home, especially bleach. People think it just, I watch a YouTube video, girl. YouTube Academy is not an accredited school. Okay. I would need you to find an accredited stylist that knows what she's doing, that knows your hair type and your hair texture. Like you need to know, this is the limits I can push with this type of hair, but this hair I can't. And so finding that person, that is like critical. Some other things I've seen is people who have biracial children, or that have just different textures on the same head, but different curl patterns. And in those cases, I have a lot of biracial children that come and get their hair done. And I've seen it so matted. I mean, it's like golf balls in certain places where you have no choice but to cut it out. I mean, just completely matted. But when your children are young, or you are a person who just has no idea about your curl patterns, you need to go find somebody that specializes in your hair curl pattern, that can help you find, products and a regimen that will help you. And like I said, Redken is a phenomenal brand because they are chemistry based. They solve the problem, not just address the cosmetic things, but they actually chemically correct the moisture imbalance. Or if you got a lot of frizz going on, then there's something's not right. And so you need to find that right product that helps you. Now on to makeup. Makeup is amazing, and it has come such a long way. I mean, even LA Girl and Maybelline, I used to wear that when I was like 12. But now I've moved on to the higher end makeup, NARS, Too Faced, Urban Decay, Estee Lauder. Those are some of my favorites. If you are a person, let me start here. Skincare comes first. Okay, you can put all the makeup, you can cake it on if you want to, but if you don't have a healthy skin regimen, then you're doing yourself a disservice. So I'm talking a good facial wash, a hydrant. Um, they have good setting sprays that infuse enzymes into the skin, elasticity. They have coconut. They have just all these different type of ingredients that will keep your skin really plump and healthy, and looking luxurious. I say use an exfoliant, which is like it feels gritty. I use that maybe once a month. That's not something that you want to use all the time. There are some brands that say daily exfoliant, which is it's almost like it's really soft. It's not even quite like salt. It's softer than that. And only those can you use on a daily basis, but really your skin doesn't need to be exfoliated that often. And when you exfoliate, it pretty much removes the top dead layer off of your skin, and it gives it a shiny, like a baby skin, like really refreshed and shiny. So using a good exfoliant every once in a while. If you're a person that is dealing with acne, you need to go see a dermatologist so that they can suggest to you the proper products regimen that you need to balance your skin out. I know a lot of people are on Accutane for acne. When you are on Accutane, you cannot get your eyebrows waxed. That will rip your skin off. That's one of the first questions I ask when someone comes to get a wax, because it makes your skin thin because it's trying to reduce the acne. And so if you are a person that has battled acne, go to a dermatologist instead of just going to like a local store, because we're not doctors. You know, we're good at what we do and we know our stuff, but we're not doctors. And so some things require medication and topical creams and things like that. If you are a person that is entering into the makeup world and you're just like, I'm not familiar with this stuff. If you go into an Ulta or a Sephora, they will, find you an associate and ask them, you're like, hey, I'm new at this. Book a makeup lesson. Specifically, Ulta has makeup lessons. I'm not sure if Sephora does or not, but Ulta does. You book an appointment, you come in, we walk you through the entire process from foundation to everything. And that just gives you a little idea of how to wear your makeup properly, because you don't want to look like a clown and we don't want you to look like a clown. And so that's why we have jobs. And so if you're a person that don't really wear makeup or you're trying to enter into that world, I say try a tinted moisturizer first, which is essentially lotion that has tint in it. And it's just like you put lotion on your skin, but it gives you just a little bit of coverage. And then you can add on top of that. If you fill in your eyebrows, you got to get them shaped first. Start there. Get your eyebrows shaped first. And then, like I said, if you do a makeup lesson, they will show you basic, like everyday looks with neutral colors. There are mattes and there are shimmers. As far as eyeshadow is concerned, mattes, they just look dry. They just look like nude skin. Shimmers have a shine to them. Shimmers do not go up here by your brow bone. I mean, I'm tired of seeing that. But it's the way light reflects. Like when you take a picture, you this normally pops out because your brow bones sit out further than your eye socket. And so you do not want to put something shiny right there on your brow bone, because it's going to make your brow bones protrude and make the rest of your eyes look sunken in, if that makes any sense. If you're not a very bold person, do not wear black eyeliner. Do soft brown or dark brown, but don't go black. It gives you a harsher look. I'm trying to throw a lot of this in there in a short amount of time. If you are a person that does not like false lashes, that's absolutely fine. You can find a mascara that just gives you a little bit of, something around the eyes. What else? Concealer is something that's multi-purpose. You can use it. I've done many tutorials, and I'm sure you can look them up on YouTube. Everybody uses concealer. You can use it to highlight. So like right under your eyes. So after you put your foundation on, your highlight will go right under your eyes, on your forehead, the tip of your nose, and your chin. Because when you take a picture, light hits you in those spots. And so you're just highlighting and helping out the camera. Now, if you want to reduce something or make something look pushed back or smaller, you would use a contour. Like I have a contour stick, and it looks like a makeup stick, and you just put it on your cheekbones to give you more defined cheekbones. You would put it around your forehead to make that look smaller. Your chin, for people like me who ain't going to the gym no time soon, you would put that, and it would make your jawline look more snatched. If you have a wider nose, you would only do it on the sides of the nose to make your nose appear thinner. That's a whole personal perception thing, but it gives you the look that you're going to go for. And this is more advanced, the highlighting and contouring. But for a basic look, I would do nude color, soft nude lipstick, maybe some skin tone blush, a little bit of like shimmer to make you look like you're glowing. But pretty much that's it. More advanced stuff, that's when you're getting like in the bold eyeshadow colors where you're like using darker colors on the outside to manipulate, make the eyes look fuller or larger. It's a lot that you can do. But basically, if you are a beginner, just start soft. You can't go wrong with a soft, everyday makeup look. Go get a makeup lesson because we will help you out.
Well, I appreciate you sharing all of those
Yes,
practical tips
yes,
and, the different product names. And even, like the suggestion to, not just feel like you have to stay wherever you are. If you
yeah,
want to learn, you
yes,
can go get lessons
yes,
from someone. Um, Everything that we need is in the earth. You
that's
know,
right.
I believe that, church is good. And I also believe that, God wants our everyday life to, be beautiful and prosperous
Yeah,
as well.
yes.
So I appreciate you so much for
Thank you.
taking the time to just pour, and to just share from your heart with the ladies. And before you go, I would love for you to share with the ladies, anyone who is saying, "Oh my goodness, I like her,"
Ow!
how they can get in contact or get in contact with you, whether it's through Glory Carriers or whether it's through your Raven Warren Glam. Um, I know you have a couple of sites, so if you can just share that real quick.
So my personal page is Raven Warren on Facebook. That's my personal page. My business page is Raven Warren Glam. My name and GLAM, all one word. And you'll see all of my colors, makeup looks, all that good stuff. That page is also on Instagram, and it's under the same thing, Raven Warren Glam. You'll be able to find me there. Ministry wise, Glory Carriers is on Facebook. You just type in Glory Carriers. I don't know if it's Glory Carriers Nation or just Glory Carriers, but either way, you'll be able to find it from my personal page um, because I share everything to that page.
I think it's
Um,
just Glory Carriers.
yeah, Glory Carriers. Okay. And then Glory Carriers is also on TikTok. We are on Instagram and YouTube. We do have a website. It's currently under construction, but it's still published. So, and I'm going to be figuring out how to get that up and running. And Gloria, I might need your help, girl.
Just call me.
But we're going to have that up running soon. But that is his www.hisglorycarriers.com. So www.hisglorycarriers.com. That's the website.
Yeah. So one more time, thank you so much for being here, for just again pouring. And I know that, you know, somebody's going to be able to pull something from this, even if it's, from the first part, every segment, that we talked about, I know that somebody's going to be able to pull something. And I'm just always grateful for, the conversations, because I know how important it is for, even if they can't talk back to us,
Yeah.
even when you just hear something that sounds like your situation, sometimes, that's just like that's a world of difference. That is
Yeah.
something that can just spark something in a person to say, I want to pursue healing, even if they're, feeling down today. All it has to take is just one word, or
Yeah.
just, one sentence or one conversation that God can then, use those words and begin to minister to people's hearts and, begin to turn over and over in them until they, just say, I think I want to, pursue a more deeper relationship with the Lord, or whatever the case may be. So I just, again, appreciate this conversation. Um, and I just pray, that God will just bless you, will bless Glory Carriers, will bless your business. Um, because I know that you do have a heart for the things of God, and you have a heart to help people. And I just appreciate who you are. And um, I just pray that you would just continue to just flourish and be all that God has created you to be, because I believe that there is greatness. And I appreciate you. And I truly, truly,
Don't
you me
start.
looking at you, you about to,
Girl, where the glue at? Don't start
I
me,
do though.
girl.
I appreciate you. And I just thank you for coming on and for sharing. Um, so for all of you ladies who are watching, I pray that you are blessed. I pray that you were blessed. And I pray that, God will just continue to just speak to you and will begin to deal with you. If this is an area that you've struggled in, I pray that the Lord would just bless you bountifully and allow you to see who He has created you to be, to know that you're beautiful no matter the scars that may be, on your body, or whether the scars are within your heart. Whatever it is, wherever it is, Jesus is our healer. And I believe that He wants to heal us from every burden, every weight in this season. So thank you all for tuning in. And until next week, I will see you then. Bye bye.